which interpreter is Tobias Omondi. Now, we started off with the declarations at the 60th birthday of Kenya, and President Ruto declares Kenya a visa-free destination from 2024. Now, Kenya has abolished visa requirements for all global visitors beginning January 2024. President Ruto said foreigners visiting the country will now only need to obtain electronic travel authorization before travel. Here are the full details of this story.
Great pleasure as president of this extraordinary country to make a historic announcement of the decision of the government of Kenya. Beginning January 2024, Kenya will be a visa-free country. It shall no longer be necessary for any person from any corner of the globe to carry the burden of applying for a visa to come to Kenya. To echo the call of the Turkana people to the world, Tobongu Lore, a simple message to humanity: welcome home. This is why the government of Kenya has abolished the requirement of visas for all visitors. To implement this new policy, we have developed a digital platform to ensure that all travelers to Kenya are identified in advance on an electronic platform. Consequently, all travelers will obtain electronic travel authorization as they come to Kenya. Our national security apparatus have remained a strong shield against terrorism, crime, and insecurity. As we continue to invest resources into the security sector, we continue to expect continuous improvement in its overall capacity to keep our nation's boundaries inviolable.
President Ruto says the economy is on an upward trajectory. President William Ruto has declared that the country is out of economic distress. The president, who led the country in Jamhuri Day celebrations, said that the measures instituted by his administration, including cuts on expenditure, had yielded results. Here is the president pronouncing himself on the same.
We have had to cut back significantly on expenditure and to defer the implementation of critical development programs to stabilize our economy. The policy measures required to mobilize necessary revenues have been difficult, but they were our only way and means of escape. I can now confirm, without fear of any contradiction, that Kenya is safely out of the danger of debt distress and that our economy is on a stable footing. The economic indicators point to good news. Inflation is now 6.8%, down from a high of 9.2% a year ago. In the last 6 months, our GDP has grown at a rate of 5.4%, making Kenya the 29th fastest growing economy in the world, according to the World Bank. Our savings as a percentage of GDP is dismal. The gap between the rich and the poor has not reduced. Many, especially young people, don't have jobs, and our revenues as a percentage of GDP remain low. Our focus has been firmly about the ways and means to transform our economy, making the right decisions, necessary sacrifices, and smart choices to set Kenya on a path of economic renaissance.
The fifth administration is expanding financial inclusion to drive entrepreneurship, besides undertaking fundamental reforms in the public sector, among other interventions. We are leaving no one behind in Kenya. The Kenya we want is the one the president is leaving no one behind, and that is the Kenya we all deserve.
National unity means inclusion. This new generation must make certain that no one, whatever their race, whatever their religion, whatever their region, whatever their political affiliation, will be denied a say when we make decisions for our country. Every Kenyan deserves to be heard.
At the celebrations, the president pledged support for war on corruption, and President William Ruto says his government is committed to ridding the country of corruption. Speaking during celebrations to mark the 60th Jamhuri Day at Uhuru Gardens.
I urge our justice, law and order institutions led by the judiciary and the anti-corruption agencies to discharge their mandate without fear, favor, ill will or prejudice. I also give my personal undertaking to support the timely prosecution of all those involved in corruption without regard to their social, economic, ethnic, political status or connection or any other consideration whatsoever. Much has been given to you by the people of Kenya, and therefore much more is expected of you. On behalf of the people, I shall hold you to the highest standards of efficiency, effectiveness, transparency, and accountability in serving our nation. Every member of our civil service has been entrusted with a rare opportunity to make their unique contribution to national transformation. As such, they are at a most advantageous position to demonstrate our national values and principles of governance for the benefit of all Kenyans.
Now to other news that are making headlines in the country or staying close to yesterday's celebrations. Faith Kipyegon conferred with EGH and Omanyala awarded MBS. Now President William Ruto awarded World Athlete of the Year Women Track Faith Kipyegon with the Elder of the Golden Heart for her exemplary performance. Among other athletes, including Ferdinand Omanyala, senators, governors, and other politicians and other notable people in the country, including creatives such as a Kate actress, and among others, were conferred with different honors yesterday. And governors accuse CS Davis Churchill of frequent blackouts. And the 60th Jamhuri celebrations also took place in different counties, with calls to the president to fire Energy Cabinet Secretary Davis Churchill over the recurrent national power outages. Tharaka Nithi Governor Muthomi Njuki and his Nyeri Governor Mutahi Kahiga are calling on the president to crack the whip. Here are the full details.
Nisikia juzi wakisema kwamba tutakuwa na rationing ya stima. How can we have rationing ya stima wakati maji imejaa kwa damu ya Masinga na kule kwingine ambaye ilikuwa inasemekana stima itafanya rationing kwa sababu hakuna maji? It is irony. We talk badly about South Africa, where we are as Kenya, we are worse. Tuambiane ukweli. Ubaya wa sisi ni kutaka kuambiana ukweli, kupembelezana ni utukae vizuri.
Tunamuomba rais anapoangalia, kwanza tunaona kuna mawaziri wake wanarandaranda ovyo ovyo, hawafanyi kazi. Juzi nimetoka na ng'ambo, stima zimepotea. Waziri kama huyu afutwe asubuhi.
Fanye mkutano ya Saturday bila incident yoyote vile tumefanya leo. Hakuna JSU hapa. Askari polisi wako wachache, watu wako na amani, wamepoa, hakuna shughuli nyingi.
If you don't address that thing by the end of this week, mimi mwenyewe nakuja kushika hiyo pombe. Na nikishika, wewe chifu hauko kazini, utakuwa kazini.
What is the provincial administration in Western doing to deal with the source of this illicit brew that is finding their way to Nandi County.
Na tumesema kwa wale watu wetu wa Mombasa ambao wameweza kushindwa kulipa bili, wote waweze kutolewa katika facility hii. Ni watu 46.
Thousands of Kenyans visited national parks and museums. This followed the moratorium the moratorium that was put in place by Cabinet Secretary Cabinet Secretary Alfred Mutua, who is in charge of tourism, where all fees were waived for everybody on every Kenyan to access the parks to celebrate Jamhuri Day. Here are the full details for this report.
Changamoto tu imekuwa jamu imekuwa mrefu. Tumesimama sana. Niliingia hapa karibu saa 5, almost more than 2 hours.
Tuliingia saa 1 asubuhi, tumekimbishana the big 5. Tumeona buffaloes, rhinos, tumeona warthogs.
Yes, at least sasa tumesherehekea sikukuu vizuri na tumechukua hii fursa na kwa sababu maisha yako juu sasa ndio unaona watu wengi wamekimbilia siku hii.
Tuko huku Nakuru tunajienjoy vitu za free. Asante sana kwa president wetu na tufanyie hivyo siku ya Christmas.
Most of us youth hatunanga ile chance ya kuingia kwa park, lakini leo tumepata ile free entrance. Kukiwa na holiday at least waweke kila wakati, at least Kenyans wote wapate ile opportunity.
Tumeingia huko ndani tukaona wanyama wote tukafurahia. Tumeshukuru sana serikali vile imefungua, imefanya kitu ya maana.
Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has blamed the JKIA blackouts on sabotage. Now, Transport Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has hinted at a purge at the Kenya Ports Authority, blaming the failure by the generators to automatically switch on during the Sunday blackout. Here are the full details.
Mumeona watu wengine wanaongea mambo mingi ati Murkomen, airport, stima, nini. Wacha niwaambie, tulipata airport wetu ya JKIA imewachwa kwa miaka mingi, imekwisha, it's dilapidated. Kazi ya kwanza tumetafuta njia ya kuandika watu wapya, karibu tumalize hiyo process. Ya pili niliweka kamati ikaangalia miundo msingi zote za airport yetu iko na shida kubwa. Sasa tumetafuta hela kuhakikisha tumebadilisha. Na nimepata habari ya kwamba ile generator ilikuwa majuzi, kulikuwa na kitu inaitwa sabotage, wakora wengine walifanya makosa hapa na pale. Nimekuwa leo na IG, nilimwandikia jana na nimekuwa leo na IG. Wale walifanya mambo hayo mtaona vile watachukuliwa hatua ya kisheria. Mimi I am totally in charge of changing our infrastructure, our airports, our country.
We come to the end of the news that are making headlines in